Welcome back to Gallery Guichard virtually, and you are in for an amazing treat.
Yes.
We get to sit down with one of our favorite couples and just have a conversation about how collaboration really just happened naturally. And first it was a purchase, then, I think everybody wants to give, and this is the ultimate example of art activism.
And he's your fraternity brother, she's my sorority sister, and it's just an opportunity for us to really delve into stories about the artists and to talk about the importance of collecting. We have so much fun. I mean, even outside of the art, it's just a really wonderful connection to be able to experience this with now true friends that we've known for 11 years. Wow.
Crazy. And every exhibit ends with just hanging out, having a conversation. So come on and be the fly on the wall and listen to the kind of conversations that we have about collecting, and particularly this show that means a lot to all of us.
Can't wait to talk to them.
Welcome back to Gallery Guichard virtually. I'm Andre Guichard, artist, curator, and co-owner of Gallery Guichard.
I'm Frances Guichard, artist, curator, collector, and co-owner of Gallery Guichard.
And we're back with our family. I used to call them just friends, but I have to say family, friends, and co-producers of the 11th annual Mrcae show. What's up, Lorenzo and Nancy?
Absolutely. Hey, guys.
Hi, family.
Hi, how are you?
Awesome. I have to say, Nancy, I don't see that shirt you have on, but that shirt is awesome. Stand up a little bit so we can see it. Whoa, there we go. Black everything, because we are the bomb.
Yes.
That's right.
11 years of collaboration, y'all. I mean, it's really amazing, from different states making it happen, and just, not only has it been a joy, but the people and watching your kids grow up. So
absolutely. We love you guys. Just having friends and family in Washington, D.C. that we can call home whenever we go there. And we feel just like you guys. We've always known you all of our lives. And it's just such a blessing.
That's right.
Is your motivation for the art activism that I think really sets you apart from most collectors, in my opinion, because not only are you role models, you educate people, but you open your home to say, this is what it is to live with original art. So how did that happen, and what was your inspiration?
Lorenzo, why don't you start?
How did it happen? I think it happened, and excuse the background noise, I'm actually by a train station, by RFK. But I think how it happened was actually getting a piece commissioned by you, Andre. I can't remember how I came across the gallery. It's been so long, over a decade. It's crazy, but I can't recall how I came across you and the gallery and saw your work and immediately fell in love. And recall reaching out to you to see if there was a piece that I saw in the gallery and I wanted it, but it had already been sold. And so you talked to me about commissioning the piece, which I think was the first time I realized that, a regular old person can actually commission a piece of artwork from an artist. And so I said, once you explained it, I said, of course, I wanted to do that. And then we started talking and making different connections between Catherine, Mrcae, and World. And I think at the time you all didn't have a connection in DC, or at least you were showing in different cities around the country, not in DC. And Nancy and I knew a bunch of people who were interested in art. A lot of them were like us. Had an interest, went to museums, maybe went to gallery shows if we were particularly in New York or another major city. They weren't necessarily buying or just had a few pieces, but we knew that out of our friend group and associates, that a lot of them would come and support, be interested, and probably buy art. So we continued to talk, and we put something on the calendar. And I think that first year, it may have been in January, or it was in the winter. The first time we had it, I recall it being in the winter. And just each year since then, we've tweaked it and improved it, and here we are today, 11 years later. I'm just looking forward to next weekend and seeing what 2023 has to go after COVID. We're back outside.
Right.
Looking forward to it.
And more people are interested in coming back. So it looks like we've got a really nice lineup of people coming out. Our RSVP is way up. Nancy, did you want to say something on that?
Just, I think that's right, that wanting to share our love of art and support Black artists is, incredibly important, because so much of the time, just in the general world, the valuation of whatever we do as Black people we don't share that among ourselves. So valuing, living Black artists and being able to support their work and support their artistic craft is really important, being able to share that. One of the things I love about the show is that, first and foremost, people like yourselves who are both artists and gallery owners and other living artists are at the show, and being able to talk to someone about what their motivation is for creating a piece, and learning about things like commissioning work, that if there's something that you don't see but you like an artist's vibe, that you could commission work from them, isn't something that's discussed widely in our community that people know. I think people can feel uncomfortable asking questions about art because it seems like a little bit of a secret society, and we always want to demystify that. And I think by bringing people in our home and introducing them to folks like yourselves who are so open and willing to share, that they learn to understand that this doesn't have to be a secret society. If you have questions, you have interest, you can talk about all of that, because you're right at our house for a party that happens to be about and around art. So we try to make it fun and try to make it, again, demystify some of what I think has not helped us embrace art in the ways that we should, and that we, especially as you think about some of the top selling artists in the past 5 to 10 years, are Black artists. They are not collected by other African American people, which is pretty astonishing. So for us to learn more about ourselves, to be able to support ourselves and support other Black artists, this show checks all the boxes for us. Plus, it's just fun because it's a group of really great people that are a lot of fun, starting with you all that, open your gallery and open all of your experience up to people is incredibly meaningful. I can't tell you how many people have been bugging me for the past, few months. When's the show? When's the show? When is the show? I need the date for the show. And just recently had requests from people who can't make it this year who are like, what's the date for next year? And I'm like, I haven't even gotten through this year, but I love the love. I love the love.
And you just talked about something real important. This isn't in a commercial, location. It's in your home. And there are a lot of collectors who would love to do what you guys are doing. So what advice would you give a collector that would help them understand, how to go about doing what you do and inviting people into your home?
Lorenzo, did you want to go first?
Sure. I think just do it. We have a close friend who did her first art show with, she went to Howard, graduated several years ago, and one of her friends who worked with her at the Hilltop Magazine, Howard's newspaper, is in Africa traveling, and she's an artist, and she's also working with other artists. And so the two of them connected and had a art exhibition in DC with African artists who were in photography. And she said that in part, she was not necessarily inspired by us, but knew, like, coming to our event over the years, that it's possible. And so, again, I'd say, if you are a collector, and whether you with a gallery like Gallery Guichard, or there's an artist that you know and you think they're awesome, you can participate and help that artist by exposing them to collectors, by having mounted an exhibition at your home, and just not much to it, wine and cheese if you want to have that. You can have more food if you want, but it's really around art. And it could be for a very finite period of time, lesbian or the gay, whatever you're comfortable with, I think people who love the arts would come and just appreciate the fact that you are supporting an artist, you are supporting a gallery, you're supporting a whole system. And so it's not a Herculean effort by any means. It just takes a little bit of effort and a place to hold it. Again, whether you're home or you may have access to some facility that you think would be a good place to house it. So that's what I'd say.
Awesome.
I'm
Nancy?
sorry. Mhm.
I think I agree with that. I think that, and you really want to start with your own level of comfort. Like if you don't feel comfortable doing it, I think that will translate in the space. And so you should be comfortable doing it. There's no perfect way to do it. I think if you're warm and receptive to people coming and, especially if preferably they're at all different levels. Hopefully you have some people that like to invest in art, and then you have people who are new. That's always like a great vibe to have lots of different people coming from different spaces as collectors and as people who just are interested in the arts. I think that's the main thing, and having, good food and good drinks always help a party, and some music. They always help a party, have that extra spice to it. And making sure as a host that you make the connections for people that are there. I try to, when I know that there are people who I've talked to before who might be interested in the commission piece, but I know they might not want to come up to Andre and Fran and say, I want to commission work, because they don't really know what that looks like. Then I might bring them over to you and say, hey, Fran, I want you to meet a friend of mine. And this is a person who really loves your work, but was looking for something a little different that she or he didn't see on the wall, and would love to talk to you about commissioning work. If you could kind of give them some details, and we've done that before with you, and this is what it looked like. I think that sort of icebreaker helps people be able to talk about it and feel comfortable. I also try to connect people when I know that there's any other type of interest, like maybe they're from the same place, geographically, went to the same schools, have some sort of connection. Looking for connections among people is always a good lead in to getting them, comfortable in the space. And then there's also just letting people know you could just come and enjoy the work. There's no pressure to do anything. You could just come here and be in the space, learn. You all know Andre and Fran, you all know this. We have had so many people who have come to the show. They've not purchased anything. They kind of looked around, seemed like they enjoyed the space. They told us afterwards they had a great time. And then, come back a year or two later with friends, and they're buying work because now they're ready to do it. No pressure. You do it when you're ready and you're comfortable. But I think making sure that people know all that it's not some sort of high pressure, weird sales situation at all. And just being genuine about we try to be genuine about our space and our home, and opening it up and sharing all of the great artists that are a part of your work and your collection in the gallery, including yourselves, really helps allow people to be more comfortable in the space and really enjoy it. So I think it's easy, but I can understand why people could hesitate to do it, because they feel like they're not going to get it right. And I caution anybody, there's no right way. Do it however you want to do it, and people will fall in the way they're supposed to.
Excellent, guys.
I have to say, whenever I think about this journey that we've made together and the collaboration, it really makes me proud, because so often people say, African Americans can't work together and things like that. But I think it also allows us to show how multifaceted we are as a people in a community, and even how we approach investing in a different way. And investing in our culture is something that is a byproduct of this, that too often people just think of it as decoration. And I was just wondering, because you all have become admired and important collectors in the art community, if you could both speak a little about why collecting is important, but there's another layer around the passing on wealth and culture that's happening also.
I'll kick this one off by saying that I think it's, Black American people have had this journey that we're still on. And what a beautiful day, Juneteenth, to talk about this. We've had this very long and very, very challenging journey to get to a place where we can be educated and work and really find this quote unquote, if you believe in an American dream that we are really owed, right? And I think because of that, a lot of things that some of our counterparts do, we have not been able to necessarily engage in, because for a long time, all we were doing was just trying to make it. And so now we're at a point where we can, buy work, invest in other things, really think outside of the box of just being able to maybe buy a home and that's your only investment. Now we can think about buying stocks, bonds, all those things are great. Having your retirement, cryptocurrency, if that's your thing, right? Those things are great. But again, you hit the nail on the head, Andre, multifaceted. I think I'm not an investment person, but I do know this. It's important to have varied investments. Should anything go south in any one area, you've got some other backup, right? Maybe you have real estate, you have stocks and bonds, you have all these things. Art, in our estimation, is another one of those investment areas. It's very rich and really filled with opportunity, because there's lots of opportunities and ways to buy art and then treat that as an investment. One, for yourself and for your family that you're passing on. I don't think that everybody thinks about it as generational wealth, but it is. We tease our boys sometimes now about, don't throw the ball around, because that's your education. Your college education is on that wall, right? That's a piece that we invested in for you for the future. But it really gives you something to pass on to your family, to be able to say, 40 years ago, my parents bought this piece and now I have it and I'm going to pass it on to my kids. But it really is, there's a lot to learn around wealth as it relates to art. I mean, we've talked to folks before about the fact that you can get loans based on artwork, that valuable artwork that you have. The fact that you can sell it, it is an asset and a commodity that's out there that is in the world that people want to buy. And not something that I think people in our community, even when they get to the point where they admire the work, they'll go to a gallery, they like work, they still may not be thinking of it as an investment, right? And investments vary, just like you could buy, a couple of shares of Microsoft or a whole lot of shares of Microsoft. It depends on where you are. And that's a very personal decision, how much you want to put into it. But the fact is that in my mind, it's an area that many of us do not know about, the value of how there are particular pieces of work that you can get that really the value increases tremendously, especially if you're holding on to it for the long term, which I think a lot of people in the art world do hold on to their work for a long time. But it's just the multifaceted piece of it, that it's something you enjoy on your wall. That's beautiful. It's your Zoom screen behind you, as I move my Zoom screen so you can see what's behind me. It's what's on your Zoom screen behind you. It's something you pass on to your kids, but it is truly an investment in many different areas. And like you said, Andre, it's also if you're supporting Black artists, you're putting money into the pocket of another Black person, keeping all of that money within the African-American community, which is incredibly important. Artists won't survive if people don't support their work, and Black artists have an even harder time than our counterparts.
Amen.
So true. Lorenzo, did you want to say something on this one?
I think that was well said. The only thing that I will add is that, we're talking about art as an investment, which it is. That's one facet of it. So I advise that people don't go into art world or buying art with the only purpose being how much it's going to be worth and what you're going to sell it for. I think that detracts from the aesthetic and purpose of art, and also can get a lot of collectors into trouble. Like if you are in it chasing money and increased value, then you're probably going to get burned. And so I always advise collectors that, yes, a lot of art appreciates in value. Yes, there's an opportunity to even get a loan against certain artwork, but all artwork is not going to increase in value. And at the end of the day, you want to be happy with the piece that you purchase or place on the wall, whether it's $500, $5,000, $50,000, or $5 million. You want to be happy with that artwork and whatever your investment is in that artist, because ultimately
saying that's a great point you're making, Lorenzo, about, purchasing too. There is a great value in investing in the art as well, but also understanding that sometimes you're just there to support the art, to make sure that artists can continue to do what they do. And as Nancy said, keep the wealth within the community, because you're circulating that dollar in the Black community. So, you guys make some very valid points, and I'm hoping that all of our listeners will be able to buy work that they appreciate, that they love, that they'll live with. We have some amazing artists coming this year. Again, Calvin Coleman, Alberts, Andre Guichard, Marlene Campbell, and more, many, many more. We have new artists that we're bringing too.
Like Shane Ward, and I'm really excited about this artist from Los Angeles, originally from Detroit, and he's unveiling his studio practice, but he was the designer of the Yeezy brand. So before Adidas went left on Yeezy, he was his whole career had blown up. He was the, multiple assistants, and then that happened. So now he's still continuing to create, but his work is simply amazing. And there's one of them over there, and I don't know if you can see that Adidas shoe, but it's just a really interesting body that you'll get to see more of. And there's another.
Very cool.
So those are all butterflies that kind of evaporate into a gym shoe. So
wow.
Our new artist, again, your space has become the space for many new unveilings, and we're just excited to bring those and many others that are some of our award-winning favorites from the past, but some new ones as well.
I think our children are going to want to buy that piece.
Right.
That sneaker piece is super dope. Yeah.
And it just, even gym shoes are going up in value, but to see a person who's created one of these successful lines show his other side, I think is really fun. So lots of fun. An example of what we'll be doing. And for those who are not in DC, because of COVID, we created literally in preparation for this show. I think that's when the evolution of the virtual exhibit catalog happened, because we wanted to stay connected. And we are producing virtual exhibit catalog number 31
and 32. This
32.
is 32.
Oh, this is 32.
Yes.
Right. This is virtual exhibit catalog 32. And this started because of COVID, but because of COVID, we can stay connected and invite more of our followers from around the country to enjoy this amazing experience. And this talk has really been important, and I really appreciate you all sharing. And it's just another example of your art activism that anyone could do and find a way to change the world that we live in. And we thank you for your contribution.
Yes. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for opening up your homes to other people who are interested in learning more about the arts of people of color. And also, a lot of people won't be able to come out to Washington, D.C., but they can still see all the artwork on our virtual exhibition catalog number 32 on our website. And they can go to www.galleryguichard.com. They can listen to this video and find out more information about why collectors do what they do, why you guys do what you do. And then they can also drop down into the gallery to see the work that we're bringing to the Mrcae show in Washington, D.C., and purchase work as well. So they can contact us again at www.galleryguichard.com or through our email at galleryguichardsocial@gmail.com.
That's right. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Drop down, look around, touch the Matterport, and you can get first dibs. I won't say first dibs, but at least you'll have a fighting chance. So thank you again. And we look forward to seeing you next year at Virtual Exhibit Catalog. I don't know what number, but Mrcae show number 12. But I think at 15 or 20, we're going to have to just do something really exciting, because this is really a testament.
It really is. And we love you guys and can't wait to see you guys this weekend.
We love you too, and thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your amazing art that you share with the world, and for letting other people share in this great opportunity. Thank you. We love you guys too, your family.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
See you next week or this week.
Yeah. See you this weekend.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
You know, art is not a monolith. We all have something unique to offer. We also have a unique fingerprint in our work. And there is a plethora of themes and mediums, as well as inspirations that inspire us to create what we do. And I think they're going to enjoy the work that we have to offer, because there's so much that we're going to be bringing from Gallery Guichard.
That's why it's one of my favorite exhibits every year. It's a group exhibit of artists from around the world, around the country, so many different fingerprints, landscapes, abstract, still life, and a host of new work that you haven't seen if you've been coming each year. And then each artist that you've grown to know, you'll get to see new works by those artists. So it continues to be an amazing exhibit that allows you the opportunity to collect culture, and because this work is archival, you get to pass on wealth. And that's the other part why this is so important, that we continue to educate ourselves as a community. And I commend the Mrcaes for opening their home again and their art activism.
Yes, and you know, understanding what they're doing for the larger, broader, group of people who are interested in learning more about art. They're helping us to be able to have a platform to educate people why it's important to collect art by African Americans. And then we've also been doing this for 11 years, so people continue to come back and support, and we're going to meet new people who are interested in learning more.
That's so right, so correct. And as we say, see art, love art, buy art, live with the original art, and we'll see you next time here at Gallery Guichard.